Thanks for watching this episode of Today's Homeowner here on YouTube. And don't forget to leave us a like and a comment.
And you can share with a friend if you enjoy it, and subscribe so you're notified of new videos.
Thanks and enjoy the show. This week on Today's Homeowner, we're outlining a guide to winter home survival. There's lots to consider in preparing your home for the chilly temperatures ahead, so don't move a muscle unless you're grabbing an extra blanket.
Okay.
The word survival can mean a lot of different things. And on this week's Winter Home Survival Guide, we want to share with you some ideas on how you can keep your heating costs down so that you can survive winter. And also look at some things you need to consider when the temperatures really get cold and you have to deal with a lot of snow and ice. But first, to keep those heating bills down, you want to minimize the amount of influence the cold weather has on the inside of your home. And that's very easy by just taking a slow walk around your house, grab your caulking gun and a tube of caulk, and look for any cracks in the envelope of your home. Now, there may be cracks around the windows, doors, hose bibs, maybe a gas line coming through a wall. Any penetration that you have in the outside wall needs to be sealed up. And here's another great tip. Consider using a colored caulk that will match your brick or your siding so that you minimize any touch-up paint that you have to do. You also want to make sure the weather stripping around your doors and windows are in really good shape. And if you have obsolete single pane windows and it's just not in your budget to replace them, well, Alan's got a great winter window survival tip for you.
You know, Danny's right. Sometimes replacing the windows just isn't in the budget. So I've got a tip that's taking an older idea, using some newer technology. We're going to insulate the windows from the inside. My friend Ivan's going to help me out. Ivan, you've got some leaky windows here.
Indeed.
Well, what we've got is a window insulator kit. We're going to shrink wrap these things.
Okay.
So that we're going to seal out any leaks inside or out, but you'll still be able to see outside. It's going to be really nice.
Alan has already cleaned the entire window casing and applied some two-sided tape around the perimeter of the window. So now he and Ivan are going to begin wrapping the window.
We've already got our tape up here, and what I've got, Ivan, is just this, it's shrink wrap. We're going to stick this to the tape that's already on there.
Wow.
I've got a piece cut over there. If you want to grab that piece for me. I'm going to start up top, and if you can grab the bottom and keep all the wrinkles, as much wrinkles out as you can,
Okay.
as I put it up.
I'll try.
The beauty of these kits is that they are inexpensive, and besides saving energy, they help keep the house more comfortable when the winter winds start blowing.
And go ahead and press it right on that tape. Perfect. All the way down. Let's see what we're doing. We're actually going to wrap around the frame onto the seal and then tuck it under and seal it down here.
Right.
Now comes the fun part. We're going to shrink wrap it with a hairdryer.
Okay.
That's technology right there.
Alrighty. Is that close enough?
I think so. Oh yeah, see, I'm already seeing it tightening up right there. Look at there.
Oh yeah. Wow.
See how, and the way it tightens up like that, that way it does not obscure your view at all.
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
That's very cool.
Now I gotta tell you, this is like putting makeup on an ugly woman, all right? It doesn't stay on. Eventually it comes off.
While these two continue sealing up Ivan's old windows, let's look at another front in the battle against brisk winter weather. Cold air sneaking into your house can cost you a lot of money on your heating bills, but so does that same expensive heated air being able to escape your living area, and this is one place that a lot of hot air can escape. Now, your disappearing attic stairways only has just a thin piece of plywood on it, preventing that hot air from entering into your attic. So to prevent that from happening, you might want to try this out. This is only one piece of 3/4 inch foam board. And we use the foil duct tape to create this little box. Just cut it up with a razor knife, put this together, secure it right down to the opening. And this creates a little air pocket or air cushion in here that'll prevent that hot air from escaping your living area. Now, another place that the same kind of thing can happen that a lot of people just don't realize is around your ductwork area where it enters into back of your ceiling. So just rake your insulation away, look down into it like this with a good light. If you have any gaps whatsoever there, seal it up with a caulk. Now, anytime you're out in the attic and you see this, you see how it's brown? Well, that indicates air's actually moving through there. And in this case, next to this air vent, which is an exhaust vent in the bathroom, there's a sizable gap here, and that hot air pushing through there is pushing the dust as well as a lot of that hot air completely escaping from your living area. So use that same type of caulk to seal up this crack. Now, adding insulation to an existing attic that doesn't have at least 14 to 15 inches is another good way of driving down those heating costs. So if you don't have enough insulation, then just roll out another layer of unfaced fiberglass insulation, running it perpendicular to your ceiling joist, and that'll really help out on driving those bills down. Now, speaking of the ductwork earlier, check for leaks. Make sure you have it turned on and the air blowing through it. And then check all the way back to the trunk line and the distribution lines throughout the system, and make sure there's no cracks, and allowing, again, the hot air to escape this into the attic. If you find anything, use the same type of foil duct tape, wrap it around wherever the leak is, then use a duct mastic to completely coat it so that you have a good long-term fix to that problem. Now, earlier, Alan looked at a way to really seal out a lot of the air infiltration around a window. Joe has another method on this week's Simple Solution.
If your home has double hung windows, you might be familiar with this sound. It's the sound of an ill-fitting, rattling sash. Now, even with the sash lock engaged, you can still sometimes get rattling. And that's the sound of you wasting money because heated air and cooled air is escaping. So the solution is replace the sash lock. Go to the store and get a new sash lock, but get two. We're going to replace one sash lock with two. I'll show you how that works, because I did that on this window earlier. First, I'll remove the old sash lock, and I'll come back later and paint this and fill the holes. Then I installed the new sash locks to either side, about a third of the way in, or in this case, I centered them on the glass pane on either side. And now when you engage two locks, you're locking those sash together in two different places, and it's no rattle at all, and you're saving money year-round.
This week, we're trying to help you and your home survive the winter, and the next item on our list is plumbing. When the weatherman says the temperature's really about to get cold, you have to be concerned with frozen pipes, which can lead to burst pipes. But there's a few things you can do to prevent that from happening. First of all, if you have any sinks on an outside wall, like a kitchen or a bath, make sure you open up those cabinets to allow the heated air to circulate inside those cabinets. Also, make sure you leave a little water dripping on one of your faucets so that water continues moving through those water lines. And the outside hose bibs, you can use an insulated cover to cover all of those up to prevent any problem with them. Now, the very best thing you can do if your house is up on piers like this is to insulate all the water pipes underneath, and that's what Alan and I are about to tackle. Any kind of work under a house is dirty, but these disposable crawl suits make it a little less miserable. All right, let's give this a try. It won't be too bad. Heck, there's plastic under here. This is great.
Yeah.
I don't like this view back here, so it can move along.
Sorry about that. Check this out, Danny, right here.
What is it?
I think this is, here's your some supplies going into the house right here.
Yeah,
there.
that'd be good.
All right.
Let's see, sit up in here. I like these lights right here, it's pretty cool. All right, let's see. You got the scissors?
I do.
All right there. Let it go down into the ground a little bit. And then that was just about right for the other side. Well, what do you think? Maybe that bathroom over there?
Over here.
Right over there?
Yeah.
All right. Well, haven't seen any varmints yet. That's a good sign.
That's because they're all in the corner saying, look at the big varmints coming in now. All right. Got another one here.
I wonder why those pipes are so vertical around. I mean, coming up out of the ground everywhere.
They usually are coming across underneath all the floor joist system, but these are coming out of the ground.
Uh-oh, look at all that. Look at that big hole there.
Let's see if there's anything up in there.
I hope there's not.
You know, critters get up in here too. This is a perfect spot during the winter.
Well, I tell you, it's a shame though that they leave just these big cuts like that.
Well, they did every time too.
Without sealing it up. The only way to do it is to put something over it.
I got some roll flashing.
Oh,
We can cut a piece, yeah.
Okay, I'm coming back with it.
All right.
That ought to be just about right. Wow. What kind of shears are these?
Wonder shears.
Is this what they use to cut your hair?
You realize if you put that up and then we start hearing a knock on the other side.
Yeah, we got problems there.
Hey, let me out.
Yeah, and see that bottom, the horizontal piece is down below it, so I gotta slot it for that whole thing, don't I? Let's see how close I am on this. Tell you what, I'm gonna lay on the ground. Do you have any kind of pillow? Yeah, there it is right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need more.
Yeah, a little bit. Watch your head.
Don't drip any of that on me. Got a feeling I'm gonna need a Band-Aid here in a minute.
All right.
All right. Okay, you wanna hold it and push it in place?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Oh, yeah.
There it is. What gets me though is, now that didn't take us, I mean, what, 10 minutes tops.
Right.
A little bit of effort.
And probably $5 worth of material.
Yeah.
All right, bring on the cold weather.
That's right.
And as soon as the temperatures drop, somebody's going to want to start a fire in the fireplace. Now, while a blazing fire makes a cold winter evening more bearable, it can also be very dangerous. So it's important to have your fireplace and chimney inspected regularly by a professional. A certification from a reputable professional organization like the Chimney Safety Institute of America is a good indication that they are properly trained to evaluate the safety of your fireplace or chimney. Another key to having a very safe fire in your fireplace is to make sure you use the right wood. Hardwood's always the best way to go. And make sure that it's seasoned, which means it's been cut and drying for at least 6 to 12 months. Also, any type of fireplace needs a fire screen, and you need to make sure there's nothing anywhere near the fireplace that's combustible. Now, no matter if you have a fireplace or not, every house needs a smoke detector and a carbon monoxide detector. One thing a lot of households just simply do not have is a very inexpensive fire extinguisher. They really don't cost a whole lot, but what I would recommend is picking one that is rated for A, B, C type of fires. That'll pretty much handle any kind of fire you may have around your home. Hey, let's check in with Jody for this week's Best New Product.
You know, I love hanging out in the tool aisle, but I love it even more when I can find a tool that helps me save money. And this right here by Ryobi will do just that. Now, this is their power usage meter. And what this does is it helps you manage the power usage of all of the appliances in your home. How does it work? Well, the first thing that you need to do is call your electric company and find out what the rate is that they're charging you per kilowatt hour. Then what you do is you put that into this little computer here, and then you take this and you go around and plug all of your appliances directly into this. Now, you can plug it directly into the wall, or you can actually use an extension cord so that you can get to your appliances. But after it calculates all of that, it will tell you what appliances are using the most power to operate. Then you can make a smart decision on what appliances need to be turned off, which ones need to be unplugged completely, and which ones need to be replaced. And doing all of that will definitely save you money on your power bill each month.
This week we're giving you a guide to winter home survival, and we've still got some work to do to get ready for cold weather. Man, can you imagine in the old days when this was the only way that you could stay nice and warm in your house?
Yeah, but the problem is, the wood had nothing to do with keeping you warm. It was the action of cutting it.
Yeah, I'm already feeling that. Hey, when it really gets cold and you have snow and ice all around your house, you have a whole lot more to worry about than how much wood you have split. A blanket of snow creates a beautiful landscape, but it can also create a lot of problems for homeowners. Even if it starts out fluffy and white, eventually it becomes ice, and that can cause real problems.
Ice forms a bond with concrete or asphalt, which isn't usually broken by the use of your snow shovel or your snow blower, so you still have a slippery and dangerous mess. Now, the solution is a de-icer or an anti-icer. And de-icers go down on top of the snow or ice, not to melt the snow, but to break that bond between the ice and the pavement. Now that, of course, makes it easier to remove the snow, and it leaves behind a much safer walking surface. The anti-icers, on the other hand, go down before the snow starts to fall, and it works to prevent that bond between the ice and the pavement from ever even forming.
Another concern in these kinds of conditions is ice damming on your roof.
Now, this happens when the heat in your home escapes into the attic and warms the roof, causing the snow on top of it to melt. Because hot air rises, only the top of the roof gets warm, and when that melted snow runs down the roof, it turns into ice when it reaches the cold overhangs. Now after a while, that ice becomes a dam, pushing water back up the roof and under your shingles. Before long, you have a leak inside. To prevent this problem, be sure to seal any area where warm air can sneak up from the living space into the attic. Now you also want to make sure that you have a continuous blanket of attic insulation that's thick enough for your area of the country. Now while you're at it, make sure that your soffit vents aren't blocked with insulation. The soffit vents allow fresh air into the attic to keep your roof at a consistent temperature. Now it may help to remove any of the snow from the lower part of your roof before it can contribute to an ice dam, but be very careful. Asphalt shingles are so brittle in cold weather, and you can really damage them very easily. Use a push broom or a snow rake to gently pull the snow off the roof.
Do you remember how cold it was that day we were up there?
Oh man, it was like 3 or 4 degrees. I believe I have every piece of clothing that I owned on at that time. And so many of the homeowners were telling us about how they lose power all the time because of the cold weather. And you can understand why they had a lot of the automatic home standby generators out there.
Oh yeah, I mean, it made a lot of sense. I mean, you think about it, if you have a porch.
Thanks for watching this episode of Today's Homeowner. And don't forget to like, comment, and hit the bell icon so that you'll be notified of new videos.
And be sure to click around and watch some more videos while you're here.